When I was 9, my mother was having a nervous breakdown and became like profoundly unavailable to me. And I was sent away to a Swiss boarding school. And I had like two best friends in boarding school, this guy, Jan, and this guy, Simon. And they were my best friends, but they weren't really best friends with each other. They were just best friends with me. And I was kind of like, the vector through which each of them passed. And, I liked this. I liked having two best friends. And I liked that they didn't really like each other that much. Um, and then one day, they started kind of like talking to each other and hitting it off. And I watched with a kind of dread and horror as they seemed to be really bonding. And I started getting really jealous. Like, are they going to like each other more than they like me? And this was going on all day. They were just like enamored of each other or something. And I felt really left out. And it was bedtime, and we all actually slept in the same room. And they're talking to each other after the lights are down, and they just won't stop talking, and they just like sharing their entire life stories. And I'm just thinking, what can I do to stop this? And I had an idea, which involved me crying. So I started crying. And they're like, what's going on? Why are you crying? And I'm like, my mom died. And they're like, what? And I said, my mom died. And they're like, oh my God. How? When? I was like, I just got a phone call today that she was dead. And I'm crying about my mom being dead. And they're like trying to console me. And, they're like putting their hands on my shoulders and I'm getting all the attention that I wanted. And I'm like, but don't tell anybody, please. Just don't tell anybody. I want anyone to know. And they're like, oh, we won't tell anybody. We promise. And then the next day, all these people start coming up to me and saying, I'm so sorry about what happened. I heard what happened. And I'm like, oh, it's not a big deal, really. People die all the time. And they're like, oh, you're so brave. And I'm like, no, really, it's just a part of life, the life cycle. And people are like complimenting me on how well I'm handling it. And, there's an unending stream of people giving me their condolences, and I'm just trying to play it down. And then I get a call from the principal, and she asked me to come to her office. And she says, I called your mom, and she's not dead. So why are you lying? And I felt so ashamed and humiliated. And I couldn't really tell her the truth. And I just kind of made some, I don't know, absurd excuse. And she hadn't really liked me much before, but she really didn't like me after that.